Hey, hey, everyone, and welcome. I am so glad you're tuning in live or catching the replay because today I have a special guest for all of us. If this is your first time tuning in, my name is Young Pratt. I'm the Chief Dreamer here at Our Young Creators and the creator of the In a Weekend series. And today I have none other than the amazing Christie Garcia. Now, Christie is a branding expert. She is a business strategist, and she is the dance mom of Sparkle Your Star. Christie, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Young. I'm so thrilled to be here.
Now, just to connect some dots for everyone, in case you don't know, before I came into this online space, I actually ran a brick and mortar performing arts school for 17 years. So it's very rare that I actually meet other online business owners who have a similar background in dance. So now that Christie is in my life, I love it because first of all, she's amazing at everything she does, and she brings so much sparkle to my life. The fact, though, that we can talk about dance stuff and we just kind of know the lingo and we can really have some fun conversations is super exciting. Now, Christie, you have something brand new, a couple of brand new things coming out, and they're all about helping parents sparkle their stars. So if they have little performers in their houses, that they want to help them really be able to become the performers they're meant to be. You have ways to help them, which are incredible. Can you talk about what's coming down the pipeline?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you had said, I am the dance mom. I'm the dance mom that maybe made some mistakes along the way. So just to introduce a little bit more of like how I'm the dance mom, I have been a dance mom for 16 years. 14 of that has been through dance competition, entertaining, the commercial industry, kind of all the different steps. And when I first became the dance mom, I was the dance mom that forgot a lot of things. So, I was at competition and didn't have the right red lipstick and everyone was backstage already. Or my daughter's on stage and her hat flies off. And anybody who's a dance mom knows that I was sitting in that audience, like losing my mind going, I don't know if I'm more scared of what the parents are going to say or I'm more scared of what my studio owner is going to say, let alone my daughter being mortified. So I have gone through all of those things. And so what I've taken is all the learnings that I've done through the last 16 years, and I've created an ebook for parents who are attending dance competitions, maybe the first time, maybe you've attended for a couple years and you're just a hot mess like I was. So this has so many things and so many categories. That's one thing. And then the other thing I'm launching is a Sparkle Your Star podcast. And I'm just super excited for both of those things.
Me too. And I have to say, as a former studio owner, and I guess I still identify with myself as a studio owner, it's definitely needed because when you come into the world of dance, I think people come in and they've never experienced before, and there's a bit of a learning curve, as with any sport or any activity your kids do. And the faster you can get yourself caught up in, know the proper things to bring to certain events or know where to be at what time. Like there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes that I think people who are outside the realm of dance don't really understand. However, once you understand it and Christie walks you through, like, what do you need to bring? When are you going to feed your kid? Like really important things that when you go to things like a dance competition, they can be all day affairs. So you definitely want to make sure you're bringing the right things. And, in this book, she'll share with you some of the secrets she's learned as the mom who forgot those things and now has learned to say, you know what? Here are my tips and tricks because I have walked this walk and I've lived it. And now I want to help other parents to be on top of their game. So I want to ask you for both of these things, Christie, for the book and the podcast. Why are you sharing them now? Why is the time to launch today or this week, like now?
Yeah, I'm going through a little bit of a change of life. My oldest daughter, she has moved on. She has Actually, she's working as a professional dancer in the commercial industry on the other side of the country. And it's given me, some time to really digest this. I still have my son. I'm still a full active dance mom. But I was able to, compile this and be like, oh my goodness, if I had this information, 14 years ago, my path would have been so much simpler and less stressful. So, it's really given me that time and letting me really digest it and be able to put it together, and combined with what my business is branding and strategy and, helping business owners. And in truth, these are little businesses that are our stars, whether they're wanting to move on or not. Even the sense of competition is if you're planned and you're prepared and you go, you're going to have a much better time than if you are like I spent my first few, a hot mess with costumes all over the dressing room. And oh my goodness, we've got a hole in our tights, all the things that have happened. So, I guess the time just felt right now. And I just want to help all those parents that I don't want to see anyone struggle. I want them to enjoy the full term of, the kids dancing, because really it goes by so quick.
Absolutely. And I know I really appreciate that you're bringing the ideas of a branding expert and a business strategist and applying them to our kids, because like you said, they are little businesses, and we often don't use those terms with our kids or their careers when they're little. However, if they do decide to go on and dance professionally like your daughter has, there are some things that parents really need to be aware of to help their kids really thrive in a very, very competitive arena, and to have the right branding and to really be able to help our kids really be confident in themselves and their abilities and their skills, and to present themselves that way on paper in addition to on the stage. Those are really huge lessons we can start instilling in our kids right now. So Christie, thank you for being the dance mom and the go-to person that we can now send people to when they're starting in this arena, or maybe want to get a little bit better about what a career could possibly look like for their kids.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are really just so many elements of that. In the studio, we trust our dance teachers. We trust the coaches that we hire for our children. And, they've got that. They've got the technical training. They've got, they're going to teach them all the things that we can't teach them. However, there's such another side to things. And, media is one of them. Presenting yourself and making sure your message is getting out. Even as a 7-year-old that's at a dance convention, taking the photo and thanking their teacher after, just such a simple thing, or going up and making a new friend. All those things are just as important as the technique in the studio being taught.
And I appreciate you said that, because that was something I really believed in when I was running my studio full time, is that when kids were walking through my door, it was never just about that moment in time. It was always about preparing them to be the people we know as parents that they can be, and getting around the right mentors and the right coaches that can help them be a really well-rounded person, not just technically, also in the way that they interact with others and how they present themselves. Because in this day and age, appearances and how you introduce yourself to someone are so important. And I find that small skill is something that we as parents often overlook. However, in a studio environment, that's a really big deal, because from the moment you set your foot on the stage and the moment you walk into a conference or a convention or a competition, like you're literally having to be your best self. And I think it's important for kids to learn that early, because when they go on and have their careers, that is the first thing people are going to notice about them.
That's right. And it really doesn't matter what their careers are later. This isn't about, every child's going to be a professional dancer or going to join a dance company. Whether they're going on to be a lawyer or whether they're going on to be a performer, those skills are still things that you're going to bring with you in any career and any really relationships that you're building throughout your life.
And it's definitely those life lessons that I know as a studio owner, I really wanted to pass on to my students. That was really of utmost importance. Yes, they're going to get trained as a dancer. They're going to get really great technique. I'm going to give them everything I have in my toolkit. However, that little bit of how they relate to other people in life, that bit, like you talked about, is so important. And now for parents to be able to have this in book format, so they're ready for those situations. And with the podcast, I think there's so much that you have to teach parents. And I'm excited you're doing both. So I want to ask this, Christie, when is the book coming out?
So the book is out. So people can actually go and purchase the book right now. And it has so much information. There's a timeline for before competition to make sure you got all the missing parts and that nothing is missed when you go to the competition, from food to costumes to your checklist. All of those things. You build a dance competition kit. So from costumes to makeup to, all of your hair things, all those individual items are listed out. The food plan. So we all know what it's like to be hangry. And dance moms and dancers hangry together, not a good situation. I've been there. Again, I'm the dance mom who has let us get into that situation. So, we have included a food plan in there and a costume care guide. There's just so many other things, advice from other parents. That is being launched today. And I'm super excited about it.
Christie, when we finish this interview, I would love for you to come back into the comments and put the link of where everyone can get this book, because if you have a star in your home and you're looking at the world of dance competitions as a first-time parent, or maybe a repeat parent, or you know someone that is living that life, please share this link with them, because again, from the studio owner perspective, this is an invaluable tool that all parents need to know, because sometimes as studio owners, we get busy with all the other things and we forget to educate the parents as much as we are able to, because we're so focused on getting their kids where they need to be and how we're going to get them to and from stage and figuring out those logistics. So Christie's book, coupled with the advice of your own teachers and coaches in your studios, I mean, it's like, a 1-2 punch. You're going to have everything you need to go out there and do that successfully. Now, I want to move on to the podcast, because the podcast isn't yet available. However, it's coming really, really soon. I want to know, besides competition parents of dancers, who is this podcast really for?
This podcast is for anybody who is a dance studio owner, a dance teacher, a dance parent, dance grandparent, dancers, whether they are dancing now, whether they're younger, whether they're older, in the professional world, or just have danced in the past. This is, it's going to have interviews with people who have moved through the ranks and now are professional dancers. It's going to be interviews with, dance studio owners and dance teachers to give us tips and tricks. So really it's all things dance. And really the focus is around the stars, empowering stars to get into the next level. It's all about leveling up.
Leveling up. What a great phrase that is, because for all of us as parents, we want our kids to level up, because if we're investing in them, we want to see them go as far as they can if that's their passion in life. And I love that it's everything dance. It's not specific to one side of the field or the other, the teachers or the parents. It's really a central hub where if you're involved in dance at all, or you know someone who has a dancer, or you just like to know about dance, this podcast is great, because when you're traveling to and from competitions, how amazing is it that you can literally press play and get some tips and tricks from world famous teachers or studio owners or people who have been at these events who can give you their feedback and their advice. I mean, I can't think of a better package of, if you're living in the dance world, you need this book and you need this podcast in your life, because it's going to help you and your dancers excel and thrive and be prepared for all the things that come at us in the world of dance. Now, Christie, will that also be on your website when it's available?
Yeah, if everyone just wants to go to sparkleyourstar.com, they will be able to find everything that we offer, including the ebook and the podcast.
Fantastic. And Kim, thank you for putting in the comments the title of the book. Tasha had that question. It is The Dance Competition Guide. And the name of the podcast is, Christie?
Sparkle Your Star, the podcast.
The podcast. I love you are the dance mom, it's the dance guide, and it's the podcast. I love that combination. And Kristen, for those people who have follow-up questions, where can they find you online or what is the best place for them to get in contact with you?
Yeah, absolutely. You know what? Just look up Sparkle Your Star everywhere you are, and you'll be able to find me. And I will absolutely get back to you ASAP. I can't wait to speak to all of you.
Absolutely. And Christie is a wealth of information, especially in the world of branding and everything dance, as you've heard today. So definitely connect with her, or if you have friends or family members in your life who are involved in the dance world, they definitely need to know Christie, the dance mom, because she's lived it all. She's made all the mistakes, and now she wants to help you avoid those things and fast track your success. Christie, I want to thank you for sharing your time and your wealth of information with us today.
Thank you so much for having me today. It is such a pleasure. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you to all of you for tuning in live or catching the replay. I'm Yang Pratt from Our Young Creators, and I have just had an amazing conversation with Christie Garcia, the dance mom herself. Cheers, my friends.